Welcome to World News, reporting live from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Brazil is well known because it's the largest country in South America and the 5th largest country in the world.
Brazil is visited by millions of tourists from around the world every year, since they celebrate amazing events like the Carnival, the Brazilian Grand Prix, and most recently, the World Cup. Also, the Olympics in 2016 are held here.
But what impact will it have on its people and the country?
In 2014, the FIFA World Cup was held in Brazil, over stadiums in 12 cities, including where we are now.
This event left many positive impacts on the country. However, many may not know that the tournament was nearly called off due to the protests from the locals.
But these weren't the only problems going on, since mass tourism is slowly going to end up destroying Brazil.
The locals of the country are currently the most affected, especially children.
The government displaced a lot of workers, forcing them to leave, but they lied to them, promising them new lives building the stadiums, never fulfilling their offers.
To make the cities, especially Rio, look prettier for tourists, they moved the slums, where many people live to another less visible place, tearing communities apart.
Locals are also affected by the tourists consuming huge amounts of their resources like food and water.
Also, children are forced to work either to build stadiums or to replace the jobs of their fathers.
This has been going on for a long time. Child laborers in India and Pakistan have been reported to be hand-stitching footballs before the 1998 World Cup in France.
They are exposed to physical, moral, and psychological threats. They may suffer from fatigue from the long working hours or physical harm. Also, they lack schooling and education, and they will have low self-esteem for the rest of their lives.
A lot of destinations in Brazil were sold as tourism products, and local communities had to change their religious rituals, festivals, and ethnic rites to conform to tourist expectations, destroying their culture.
In addition to this, tourists celebrating victories for the teams would trash the streets and get drunk, disturbing the locals and annoying their comfort.
The government also played a huge part in tourism impacts.
Saving us money, which should be going to improvement for slums, went to financing the building of the stadiums, which were not used after the World Cup.
The government wanted to give Brazil the image of a developing country, where the level of economic growth in recent years has led it to become the 6th world power, rather than the other side of Brazil, where there is a lot of poverty.
The negative impacts of the World Cup in Brazil will be long-lasting and will influence the upcoming 2016 Olympic Games.
Some of these have been seen before in the World Cup, but there are 4 main parts to this dilemma.
Firstly, pollution will severely deteriorate Guanabara Bay in Rio de Janeiro, which is a host site for the windsurfing and sailing sports, and it is currently filled with garbage from tourists and polluted waters from raw sewage.
The participants of this event run the risk of hitting any piece of garbage while it rains, but if they fall down, they may be contaminated.
Air pollution also takes a big part, now that due to the large amount of tourists, people start to produce cars and buses that release dangerous gases into the atmosphere.
This implies that more factories are going to be built, but not only for transportation in Brazil, which is a pretty big country, but also for all the supplies needed to make tourist attractions in the country, such as hotels, amusement parks, and others.
Secondly, deforestation is reducing the size of the largest rainforest in the world, and it's done to clear out an area or attractions or to use the resources for anything else.
The Amazon rainforest is known throughout the world for its biodiversity, flora, and fauna.
The incredible amount of animals which only reside in this area may go extinct soon if we don't take care of it.
And the large collection of remedial and medicinal plants will be gone forever.
This is reducing the economic income of the wonders of the Amazon, which Brazil and the world benefit from.
Machinery needed for cutting down trees will also contribute to air pollution.
Thirdly, displacement, as mentioned before, is destroying locals' lives, which they have worked very hard to build. This is something that could affect the amount of tourists coming into the country.
And lastly, the government is demanding money to people who can't live up to their demands. These people live close to popular tourist locations and often are told by the authority to pay more bills so they can keep up with the events that are going on around them.
Brazil is a wonderful country full of amazing people and amazing events. What we want to say is that a country has its ups and downs, but the way a country is depends on the way the tourists decide to behave in it.
Thank you for tuning in to World News.
See you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Welcome to World News reporting live from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Brazil is
No, seriously?
this event left many positive.
Okay, what?
This event left many positive impacts on the country. However, many may not know that the tournament machinery needed. No, I'm sorry.
Every time you pollute or litter, a puppy dies.
Every time that you never care about the locals that live in a city, another puppy dies.
So don't do it. Save the puppies.
Think about them.